Hey, everybody. I am a tired, disheveled lass today. I had to wake up at 5 to take Sissy to work. Ooh. And then I thought they were gonna end up taking the bus home because I streamed, but they got up early, and so I had to go pick them up. And I just rushed home and made food and cleaned my room for you all. But I did not get to take a shower or anything, so you're just dealing with me looking a hot, sweaty mess. Which is fine. That's almost no different than how we normally do it. You heard the mouse click? You mean that mouse click? You hearing that, Wowie? But let's see. Let me catch up with the chat. Yo ho ho and a bottle of root beer. It's your local MB Wowie in the chat. You could have rhymed it. You could have said your yo ho ho and a bottle of root beer. Your local MB Wowie is here. Come on, give me the poetry. Hello, Aroho. I don't know how to pronounce that, but hello. You left an emoji in the chat. Inbworm. I don't know if that rolls off the tongue quite as easily as Inbworm. That's a mouthful. Hello, Frank Voigt Kampf. Hello, yes, hi, what you doing? Not a lot. We're about to be reading the next couple chapters in this Justice League Green Lantern book. I don't have as much to keep everybody's attention on before the book today. I don't have any fancy new mail packages or anything to share with y'all. So it's just gonna be the book and you and me and everyone else in the chat. So, and Penny. Penny's here. Penny, say hello to everybody. Say hello. Tell them hi. Oh, you want the belly rubs. She wants the belly rubs. I'm gonna fall over. Come closer. She says, no, I want the belly rubs, but you have to come to me. Oh, I didn't realize that the first name was Leonardo. It splits on two different lines here. Big GL fan here. Hell yeah. Hello to Danny. Hello, Miguel. Miss Martian is here. Oh shoot. You had a message that I missed. I'm trying to be in two places at once today. IAMX documentary running on one screen. This on my phone or tablet. Hell yeah. Split attention. Little ADHD things. That tiny critter in the background, that's Penny. Is that a Simba? Yes, there is a Simba in the background. There's a Simba, and then there's Sonic hugging Hamtaro. I have like a whole thing of stuffed animals up here as well. Some of them are Sissy's, but most of them are mine. There's a homemade Bojack, and a Link from Zelda, and some stuffed pups that I've had since a kid. You know, stuffed animals are fun. But yeah, okay. So I guess is there any big DC news that we need to be like, oh my god, this is a thing before we get into the book? I think Fandom's coming up. That's what, like that's on the 16th. So that's not too far away. There was they dropped a teaser yesterday or the day before. I don't know if y'all saw it, but the Teen Titans Robin and the Teen Titans Go Robin are co-hosting the kids version of Fandom. Which means we'll probably get a lot more of those like animated shorts, kind of like what we got last time around. Let me see if I can find that little announcement. Okay, do I have desktop audio on? Here we go. I'll show this to y'all real quick.
The DC Kids Fandome, hosted by Robin.
Wait, what is he doing here?
Meet us in the DC Multiverse, Saturday, October 16th at DCKidsFandome.com.
Yeah, I don't know what the schedule is yet, but I'm just assuming that means we'll get more animated shorts. That's canon, by the way. Canon to Teen Titans and Teen Titans Go. I'm calling it now. Stuffed animals are the best. I have an army as well. They really are. You just can't have them all on the bed, though, because they just end up getting kicked around. But yeah, I guess we can just get right into... Oh, I'm just checking my Twitter notifications. It's the ADHD brain. We can just go ahead and get right back into... Not right back, but right into the book. Give me Titans Season 6 already. What do you mean? That is Titans Season 6. Oh, wait, you mean Titans Season 6. We're only on Season 3 right now. You got 3 more years to get there. Hey, Maddie in chat, what's going on? Not a lot. We are about to get into this book. So for those of you who weren't here with us last week, we went through the first 2 chapters of, it's called In Darkest Night, in some versions of it, in the print versions. In the digital version, they're calling it In Blackest Night. But this is set pretty shortly after John showed back up on Earth. And he's having memory problems because he's been away for so long. He forgot what a mango is. But I think that there's something more to it. I think that he ends up actually getting amnesia, and he'll probably end up getting that today. Just based off of the little bit I read about the book before hopping into it. There can never be too much 03 Titans. Personally, I mean, I think where the show itself left off is a good place. And like hearing Kari Payton talk about the ending and how it's supposed to be like like, hey, audience, things change. Like, you know, you can't always hold on to these things forever. I feel like bringing it back in a more substantial way than what they've been doing with like the silly little crossovers and stuff like that. It isn't true to the show itself. Is my personal take. Drawing bastards watching the stream, the usual. True. I have a chimpanzee puppet, a tiger plushie, and a big ass panther plushie at my bedroom at my parents' house that I'm very attached to. Hell yeah, panther. Fuck yeah. Green Lantern is gonna get bonked on the head and forget everything, but don't worry, he's got a plan, and it's a good plan. Yeah, I imagine that it's gonna be something along those lines. So, without further ado, I guess let's go ahead, let's hop in the book. I need my hair back. That's not enough of it. But yeah, let's hop into the book. Let's see where we go today. John made it to California's coast city in a matter of minutes. After all, he was used to covering the vast dark distances between stars. Flying from one city to another was child's play. He had barely arrived when he caught sight of the high-tech monstrosity that John Jones had warned him about. The thing was immense, 9 or 10 stories tall, and it didn't look anything like an orbiting telescope anymore. Oh yeah, I forgot, that was like the plot was a telescope has turned alive, and now they gotta fight it. If John were to compare it to something, it would be an ape. After all, it had long arm-like limbs in front of it and shorter, more powerful limbs in the back. But that was where the resemblance ended. Solarak, or rather, the thing that used... Oh, did I just skip a page on accident? Yeah. Or rather, the thing that used to be Solarak was made entirely of the super telescope's component parts. Its body was an accumulation of dark metal plates and cagework. Its arms and legs were long, white accumulations of molded plastic, and its head was made up of transformers and coolant containers and computer circuit boards, with huge mirrors where its eyes should have been. And it was all connected by lengths of thick, black power cable. They ran through every part of the thing, channeling energy to wherever it was needed. But Solarak wasn't just using energy. As John had pointed out, it was absorbing energy as well. John homed in on the artificial marauder and saw it grab an electrical line and tear it apart. Then he watched it feed both ends of the line into openings in its upper body. He could almost imagine the thing sighing as its rampaging hunger was momentarily satisfied. Nothing like a good meal, the Green Lantern thought, but not at the expense of Coast City. Those power lines kept hospitals and police stations and 1,000 other places alive and operational. Without electricity, people all over the city would be in trouble. Then, John realized that the problem posed by Solarak was even bigger than he had thought. It was bigger doomsday. My personal feeling is that if it were to ever be brought back, it should be as a sequel series with slightly aged up versions of the original Titans, with maybe a few new members, sort of like Young Justice Season 2. I could maybe get behind that. I think if it was done as like a spin-off show, right? Because at the end they did have like the whole expanded team and whatever. So like if they focused on those characters rather than the original Titans, I think would be my my personal preference. Hey there, Invisible Woman. Let's see. Those power lines kept hospitals and police stations and 1,000 other places alive and operational. Without electricity, people all over the city would be in trouble. Then John realized that the problem posed by Solarak was even bigger than he had thought. Because before his eyes, the high-tech Colossus began to grow. Somehow, it was converting the energy it ate into matter, and adding the matter to its already bizarre form. Whatever had caused Solarak to transform itself from an orbital telescope into a towering monster was still at work, still spurring a transformation, and there was no way of knowing where it would end. That is, if John and his teammates didn't do anything about it. But they would, the Green Lantern vowed. That's why the Justice League had been formed in the first place, to tackle threats too big for any one hero to handle. As he swooped down past the skyline, he saw that at least one member of the Justice League had beaten him to the scene. The Flash. John thought, with a touch of resentment, the guy in the red suit wasn't called the fastest man alive for nothing. Looking like little more than a red blur, the Flash was gathering people up and depositing them blocks from the high-tech Marauder's path. Good idea, the Green Lantern had to admit. The first rule of combat was to make sure all bystanders were out of harm's way. Descending from the sky, John saw his teammate start to circle the monster's legs as quickly as he could. Almost too quick for the eye to see. John understood exactly what the Flash was up to. After all, he had seen him do it before. He was trying to create a whirlwind powerful enough to topple his adversary. Unfortunately, it didn't seem to bother Solarak. Bending over, the thing swatted at the Flash and only narrowly missed him. My turn, John thought. But before he could pound the monstrosity with an energy beam, a winged figure came darting across the space between skyscrapers. It was Hawkgirl, another of his Justice League teammates. Like J'onn J'onzz, Hawkgirl was a being from another planet, but if one ignored the large gray wings that propelled her through the air, she looked as human as any Earth woman. As she reached the lumbering mass of research components, she swung her trademark weapon, a mace that looked as if it would fit perfectly in a medieval museum collection. However, it was actually a highly sophisticated energy weapon created on Hawkgirl's homeworld. It flashed and made a loud clang as it struck one of Solarak's metal parts. But it didn't seem to do any damage. In fact, Solarak appeared invigorated by the mace's power, so invigorated that it struck back with blinding speed. As the winged woman twisted in midair to avoid the monster's counterattack, John swept in and took her place. Clenching his jaw, he extended his right hand and willed a blast of the Guardian's green energy at Solarak. It didn't punch a hole in the thing as John had hoped, but at least it got its attention. This way it could kind of stand on its own. IMO this many years later. I feel like any attempt of a season 6 would probably just disappoint everybody. I can feel that. Also in the Go comics, they already sort of added Rose Wilson Ravager, so it'd be interesting if the creators would treat those as canon. I could get behind that. We can't beat Solarak one-on-one, the Martian told them telepathically. We must work as a team. That was fine with John. As the one with the most experience fighting such threats, he took charge of formulating the League's strategy. Flash and Wonder Woman, he shouted. Go after its legs. J'onn, Hawkgirl. I'm reading the sentence thrown away. Jean Hawkgirl and I will hit it high. With a little luck, we'll send this thing sprawling. Agreed, came the Martian Manhunter's response. All right, the Green Lantern roared. Let him have it. Everything went the way it was supposed to. Wonder Woman tossed her golden lasso around one of the giant's legs and tugged for all she was worth. Flash did his whirlwind trick again, running circles around Solarak. Hawkgirl hammered away with her mace, and Jean plowed into it with all his Martian strength. That left John to drive one of his energy beams into the thing's head. Flying as close to the creature as he dared, he released a green barrage that could have leveled a fair-sized building. But it didn't even slow Solarak down. If anything, it seemed to bolster its energy supply, judging by the speed and power with which it swung its appendage at him. Again, he was forced to swoop out of the way, and again, the monster missed him. Or did it? The Green Lantern felt dizzy all of a sudden, disoriented, as if he were losing consciousness. It felt as if Solarak had gotten a piece of him after all. No, he insisted, it missed me. Then John spiraled down into a bottomless well, a place as cold as space and twice as dark. Dang, these are short chapters already. Just 16 minutes in and we already, Wait. Did I miss a chapter? No, I read chapter 2. We didn't read chapter 2. Do I go back and read chapter 2? Or do we just push forward? I could have sworn I read chapter 2, but it was just a prologue that I had read. Jesus. I goofed, everybody. Like I said, I am tired today. Let's see, we got Flash and Wonder Woman and Hawkgirl all as new characters this chapter. Trademark weapon, so she has a copyright on it. I don't know how that would work, given that she's not from Earth, but maybe. The stream acting up. Oh, is stream acting up for y'all? Why the haircut, Maddie? Oh, I had to do it for a video that's coming up. Unfortunately, we had a storyline running through the channel, and the last planned video for that we filmed in 2019 before coronavirus, and that was before I grew my hair out. And so now that James and I are finally able to get together to film, I had to look like I did in 2019. So, you know, it is unfortunate, but it had to be done. The hair will come back, hopefully, depending on whatever job I end up getting and how much they decide to yell at me over it. But I want it back. Let's see. Hello back to you in Brazil. Let's see. Crazy Duplicate says yes, read chapter 2. Andrew says read chapter 2. Miss Martian says read chapter 2. Eric the Bat says you done goofed. Yes, I did. Okay. Well then. I guess we go back and read chapter 2. It looks like it's a pretty short chapter. So that's fine. Yeah, it looks like this is going to give us some kind of backstory to what happened with Solarak. So, on the planet Auran, the woman called Malene gazed at the huge dark form of the machine in front of her. It looked like a giant seashell made of some strange metal. Its gentle but complicated curves leading to a dark, shadowy opening in its center. Extraordinary, she said, her voice echoing like a chorus of ghosts in the ancient underground chamber. Yes, it is, Jared agreed. He draped his arm around Maline's shoulders. In fact, it is perhaps the most extraordinary device our ancestors ever created. Jared wasn't just Maline's uncle. He was also one of the 6 elders who sat on the exalted High Council of Escria. All 6 of them were present at that moment. Maline glanced at the elders, impressed by how calm they looked, even though their stomachs had to be churning with nervousness. Most of the time, the council ruled on practical matters. Who owed what to whom, and so on. But these days, they were forced to do a great deal more than that. They were forced to take desperate measures in the name of their nation's uncertain future. That's why they had gathered in this room beneath the capital city of Escriana. Read chapter 12, also true. If you understood chapter 3 without reading chapter 2, is chapter 2 really all that important? It seems like it, because it seems like chapter 2 is building up something that's kind of an aside from what's going on Earth. A room that hadn't been opened in hundreds of years. And it was with good reason that it hadn't been opened. The machines made by Maline's ancestors were too powerful to be tampered with. It might have been different if any of her people still understood how the devices worked. But not even the wisest of them, the members of the council, had any knowledge of that.
Good job, Robin.
Hey, thank you for subscribing, Dretrix. I don't know if you're in the chat since it's a YouTube sub, but if you are, howdy. Welcome to the database. Capital city of its crayons. Exactly. Well, I'm late. That's fine. You haven't missed much. We read chapter 3 and then realized we didn't read chapter 2. So now we're reading chapter 2. It might have been different if any of her people still understood, blah, blah, blah. I already read that part. But not even the wisest of them, the members of the council, had any knowledge of that. It was only because of the careful records the Escrians had kept that they still knew 2 important things about the machines. What they could do and how to operate them. For the time being, that was all the information they needed. Abruptly, the seashell-shaped machine came alive. A ruby-red light chased the shadows from the open space in its center. Hard to believe, said Maline, that this was built more than 1,000 years ago. Jared stroked his white wisp of a beard. And it still functions as well as the day it was first activated, a tribute to the expertise of those who came before us. Focus it on the coordinates we discussed, said one of Jared's colleagues on the council. Agrain was a sturdy-looking man with a full head of white hair. Though everyone on the council was supposed to be equal in authority, he was generally looked to as their leader. One of the technicians they had brought with them worked the controls in the back of the machine. A moment later, the red light softened and gave way to an image, but it was fuzzy, difficult to make out. It took a little while for the image to sharpen and become something recognizable. When it did, Maline saw the figure of a man. He was flying through the sky like a bird, white clouds streaming past him like a great frothy river. It's him, said Darmak, another of the council's elders. He was a portly man with a fringe of hair around his otherwise bald skull. The machine is as accurate as you said it would be, Elder Jared. As accurate as the Ancient Ones made it, Jared replied. Maline smiled to herself. Her uncle was a modest man who seldom felt the need to take credit for anything. But it was the figure in the clouds that drew her attention and held it captive. It wore a green and black uniform that Maline had seen before, with a lantern symbol on its chest, a reference to the amazing source of energy that enabled the figure to fly. What is his name? She asked. John Stewart, said Jared. He's one of the Guardians' fiercest warriors, Darmak added. Maline knew all about the Guardians and their planet Oa. After all, her people had been rivals of the Guardians thousands of years ago. But they had even gone to war with them and nearly defeated them. But while the Guardians grew in power and created the Green Lantern Corps, driven by a compulsion to protect and defend planets throughout the galaxy, the Auronites became complacent. Gradually, so gradually they failed to see it happening, their knowledge of technology withered and their power diminished. Now they needed someone to protect and defend them from a brutal and merciless enemy called Evil Star. And Maline's people couldn't ask the Guardians for help because they had declared Aaron off limits to their Green Lanterns. She gazed at Jon Stewart. He seemed so confident, so unafraid, so comfortable with the great power he wielded. "You see what I mean?" Jared asked her. She nodded. "I do." Earth's Green Lantern was just what they needed. Maline's uncle turned to her and spoke softly, so the other elders couldn't hear what he was saying. "Are you certain you want to go through with this, my child?" She sighed. What choice did she have? The fate of her entire world was at stake. "I'm certain," said Maline. "Good," said Agrain, who had overheard the conversation despite their whispering. He turned to the technicians who had gathered around the machine's control panels. "You may proceed." The one who had raised Jon Stewart's image worked the controls for a moment. Then he looked up and said, "It's done." Agrain nodded approvingly. "If I understand this process correctly, it will take some time before we obtain our champion. In the meantime, we should review what we're to do when he arrives." Darmak looked at Maline. "Especially you, my dear." She nodded. "Don't worry, counselor. I'll be ready." Okay, so we got some stuff to note from there. We've got... Is it Trash Day? I guess it's Trash Day. We've got Aran, the planet. Iskrea. Another place. Oa was mentioned, which I don't think has been yet. Then we got Maline, Jared, not Jared like Jared, but Jared like Jared. The High Council of Iskrea. The Guardians. What were the other folks' names? Agrain and Darmak. And then we had a couple timeline things. Where did it go? Is it not just gonna... Well, why does it want me to... Oh, no. Hold on. Why did it kick me out? Not even the elders had any knowledge. Good job, Robin. Oh, hey. Ain't that the truth? Make this first location, whatever. Christ, that good job, Robin was loud. Maybe it's because I have the desktop audio on, too. Let me turn that back off. It's my bad. Everyone is equal except the old white dude is the leader, of course. Ain't it just the way? I'm just waiting for the day when Watchtower Database is doing a video on the Return of the Joker flashback, and the good job Robin goes off right after Tim shoots Joker. You know what? Maybe we'll steal that. Let's see. There was like stuff had been for hundreds of years. I know Iskrea Tech was built 1,000 years ago. More than 1,000 years ago. And then insert robot. below and do another one. I could have sworn there was... in hundreds of years. Okay. The room filled with Scryan tech. Excuse me. Hadn't been opened for hundreds of years. And the people on Aran, Aran fought, what was that, thousands of years ago. I wonder if Aran is a real, like, the scientist on the planet Aran dedicated himself to cheating death. Okay, so Evil Star, yeah, that was something that was mentioned too. Where did that go? Evil Star. So that's another character. So we are in a thing based on DC mythos. This is our villain. Does he have a DCAU counterpart? Was he like a background character at all? Evil Star, DCAU. Well, I'll be. He was on Grodd's Legion of Doom. So I guess we're getting backstory here. That wasn't intended to be the backstory, but I'm making it canon. Hello, Blue Claw. Okay. I guess we can hop back forward to chapter 4 now. So yeah, going back to read chapter 2 was worthwhile, I think. I feel like chapter 3 felt like chapter 2 because we didn't know there was supposed to be this whole off-world thing going on in between it. Evil Star is awesome. Stupid, but awesome. Well, stupid but awesome is like my niche. So, I'm excited for that. Hey, Penny. Hey, come here. Did you want to see everybody on camera? Did you want to see the chat? Oh, no? Come here, baby girl. Come here. Just come tell everybody hello. Mwah. I know. You don't like being held for too long. Tell them hi. Penny, say hello. Hi. Hello. Mwah. Oh. You're a good girl. She's gotten a lot better with being held lately. She's always been a little anxious. When we first got her, she was a stray cat, and we think she was a stray. We ended up finding out later that she had been neutered and everything, but like she was like just a baby kitten that like was literally hanging out front of Sissy's work like every night for weeks and weeks. So we think that like the neutering was maybe just one of those things that like the city did and like was like, okay, neutered the stray, throw them back out on the street. And when we first got her, she was real scared of like being indoors and was always trying to find places to hide. and she's still like a little frightened of me sometimes, but she used to get like real vicious if I tried to pick her up, and she doesn't do that as much anymore. She's just like, okay, I get it, you have me, now please put me down. But she used to not even really let me touch her at all, and now here she is licking me. Well, kitty cat. I'll put Mabel on the phone. Sicko to sicko communication. I've sworn I've seen that character before in animation. Well, now we know we have. Penny, everyone said hello. I thought you said a straight cat. No, Penny's gay as fuck. But yeah, okay, chapter 4, right? We're just blasting through chapters, which is kind of hilarious given how the last couple times has been like 2 hours to get through 2 chapters. But so it goes. Oh, did you want to get out of here, baby girl? Hold on, let me let her out. There you go. Alright, she's gone. That construction work isn't too loud for y'all, is it? I've got my window open, just because it's a little hot in here. But if the construction work is too loud, I can close it back up. But otherwise, I'm just gonna push forward. John was falling through darkness. It seemed to him that he had been falling for a long time, maybe his entire life. It was quiet as he fell, as quiet as could be, and then, suddenly, he heard voices. They were worried, it seemed to him, though he didn't know why, and they seemed to come to him from very far away. Why isn't it working? It will. Give it time. What if the procedure fails? It's too soon to worry about that. But what if it does? Then our last hope is gone. What are they talking about? John wondered. It's fine. Okay, tight. Then the sound of their argument faded and he began falling again. As Malene watched the image of the fallen Green Lantern in the core of the seashell-shaped machine, she frowned at something her uncle had told her. If the machine worked as it should, as the ancients meant it to, John Stewart would remain there on Earth, but at the same time, he would appear on Auran. That meant he would be in 2 places at once. Malene didn't see how that was possible. For that matter, neither did Jared, but he had assured her that it would be so. All that will be transported here is his essence, her uncle had said, his ingenuity, his courage, his strength, both the kind in his body and the kind in his ring. John Stewart wouldn't remember anything about his life on Earth. All he would remember was what Agrain and the others had programmed into the machine. Memories of a life on Auran that the Green Lantern had never led. If that were all true, the ancients were even more powerful than Malene had imagined. More than ever, it seemed like a pity that her people had lost the scientific secrets of their ancestors. Something's happening! Darmak cried out. He was pointing to something in the core of the machine. Malene followed his gesture and saw that the counselor was right. Something was happening. The image of the Green Lantern was fading. The ruby light was returning to assume its place, and something seemed to be taking shape inside it. It took Malene a moment to realize what it was. A skeleton! There are skeletons! We have spooky skeletons now! Are skeletons a thing in DC? Oh shit, do they have a whole page? They have a whole page for skeletons. Here we go. There's 2 characters named Skeleton. Skeleton from the Quality universe, and Skeleton from New Earth. That's not Skeleton, that's the Skeleton. I didn't mean to go to the New Earth page, I meant to click Skeleton. That's alright. It's probably not either of these skeletons. One is a Batman villain, and one is a Spider villain. I'm gonna assume that that's not a character named Spider. That this is skeletons are just the natural enemy of spiders in the wild. Oh, so it's like a fucked up little red kryptonite sort of deal. Oh my god, it's Sans Undertale. Oh, damn it. Spider is... Wait a second. There's a bunch of different characters named Spider. That's it. I'm taking... Since we don't know which spider it is, I think skeletons are just naturally anti-spider. What did this man do? According to the Spider, the skeleton was the last remnant of a line of murderously insane secret relatives of the Martin family. He killed the family's lawyer and tried to kill another heir, and Elaine Martin, but was thwarted by the Spider. Whoever he was, he looked very much like Elaine Martin's late grandfather. He was last seen falling into an underground river. Damn, now y'all know everything there is to know about the skeleton. For the Spider, the PLP character. What is PLP? It's this, the Spider. I don't know what PLP means, though. Guarantee there will be a picture of the Joker skeleton from Joyride. Well, there wasn't. Skeleton, best new character of the DCAU since Shelby. Absolutely. Very true. I just love his little word balloon. Hee hee hee! No one shall know the air! I guess is what it says. It kind of cuts off halfway through the word bubble. But I just like the hee hee hee! Let's see. Where were we? Pulp. Okay. Let's see. A skeleton, she thought. It was building itself up, bone by bone, so quickly that her eyes could barely follow the process. Then muscles wound their way in and around the bones. Tiny red pieces of flesh appeared and grew into organs such as kidneys, lungs, and a vibrant beating heart. A network of tiny nerves spread out from the backbone and formed a wet gray brain. A layer of skin spread to cover it all, and that, in turn, was clothed in a green and black uniform. Last of all, a ring appeared. The process was complete. The being called John Stewart had been reconstituted on the planet Aran, looking as if he had existed there all his life. But was it John Stewart? Did the body lying there in front of them have his essence in it? His courage and his strength, as her uncle had said? Or was it just a construct of flesh and bone, unable to think or feel for itself? There was only one way to find out. Mr. Wing Erasure. Gloria Navarro Erasure. That's the best new one. That is well, why is it not letting me get off of skeleton? They didn't give her a page yet? They didn't give her a page yet. They don't... Do they not even mention her on here? Oh, there they go. How come she's single appearance and Emerson Mayfield and the Muscle are first appearance? Come on, y'all. Come on. That's a little sus, I would think. But if you take away his past, his history, he wouldn't have his willpower, and it's our experiences that make... No, it's nature over nurture, obviously. Did they mention Gloria on here? I fucking hate the way that wikis do this, like, word this shit. She is dating a woman named Gloria Navarro, indicating she is homosexual. Who wrote that? Who wrote that? Just put that she's dating a woman, or put that she's a lesbian. Like, fucking... Oh my god. View source. It's a locked page. Of course it's a locked page. History. Who did it? Who did it? Was it Mystery Scooby? Compare selected revisions. Mystery Scooby, I don't know who you are, but get your act together. History, probably getting banned soon. What is... I don't like the way they worded that. It reminds me of the way that God, I'm blanking now. The Selma Riesdale article is worded on the DCAU wiki, which is incredibly insensitive to trans people. So I was thinking that it might have been someone from over there, but I don't recognize that Mystery Scooby name. That picture choice for Renee. Yeah, well, I mean, that's Shane Glein's Gotham Girls cover. So like, it is like before BTAC, it was like one of the more recent Renee Montoya pieces. So like I can understand it there, but there's definitely better images that could be used. What the plot twist is that Jon Stewart is Jon Stewart from The Daily Show. Zoink, Scooby! It's a lesbian. Does Renee Montoya is gay? The truth come out. John? Someone said. He opened his eyes and saw that he was in a room with violet walls, their surfaces sculpted to look like fish scales as they approached the arched ceiling. There was a circle of men around him, men in long belted garments of various hues, old enough for their hair and beards to have turned white. He didn't recognize any of them. However, they had an air of authority about them, authority and wisdom. "Are you all right, John?" one of the men asked. He had stern-looking features and a full head of hair. John, that was his name, wasn't it? He remembered that much, if nothing else. "What happened?" he muttered. "We don't know," said another of the men, a heavy-set fellow with a white fringe of hair around a bald head. "You must have had a run-in with some of Evil Star's henchmen. We found you on the outskirts of the city." This is a segment of the stream called Maddie Goes on a Tangent to call out a suspicious wiki article. I mean, someone remake that image, but with John in the middle. Oh, jeez. Just have John ass out. I'm down. I'd love to see that. Thankfully, added a slender man with a white wisp of a beard, just inside the defense barrier. Otherwise, you might be waking up in Evil Star's prison instead of among friends. John didn't remember Evil Star, or anything else. Why didn't he remember? "You look confused," one of the men observed. "Of course he does," said the plump one. "He had to have taken quite a beating." "A beating?" John repeated numbly. He shook his head, as if that would help him remember. He didn't like feeling so helpless. He didn't like it at all. Suddenly, a door opened and a woman came through it. John felt his heart skip a beat. She was beautiful, and he was horny. As beautiful as any woman had ever seen. But that wasn't what made her feel so special to him. It wasn't the almond shape of her dark eyes or the majestic sweep of her cheekbones. It was something else entirely. Something he felt he should know, but couldn't quite remember. "Oh, John," she said, she threw her arms around him. He would have liked to embrace her in return, but he didn't know who he was. "I'm sorry," he said. "Do I know you?" My face when this ends up being twisted into an attempted harassment campaign by them if they receive complaints. Are you talking about the wiki? They're gaslighting him. They truly are. Slenderman, yes. I'm going to have to go back and listen to this all in order. I feel that. Maybe I'll just buy the book and catch up. It is free on Kindle Unlimited if you use that. Almond-shaped eyes. Damn, it's every woman in the DCAU. The men standing around them exchanged looks. They didn't seem happy with John's question. Neither did the woman. She held him away from her and looked at him, her eyes full of surprise and concern. Then she seemed to gather herself. Turning to the man with the wispy beard, she asked, "What happened?" The man looked grave as he shook his head. "I'm sorry, Malene, I don't know. We found him on the edge of the city a little while ago. He was unconscious." "He must have taken a blow to the head," one of the other men offered. "Such injuries have been known to cause people to lose their memories." The stern-looking man frowned with concern. "What do you remember?" he asked of John. John thought about it. "Not much. My name." He glanced at the ring on his finger. "That I used this, but I can't remember why or where I got it." The men looked at each other again. "Don't worry," said the woman. "We'll help you remember. But for now, let's just go home." John looked at her. "Together?" Yeah, my paranoia was acting up the whole time you were looking at it. There's nothing to be paranoid about. "Naturally," she said. "You are my husband." "I am?" he said haltingly. He felt a warmth rise in his face. And then, as he realized how fortunate he was to be married to someone so beautiful, he added, "I mean, of course I am." That's chapter 4. How long is chapter 5? Maybe. But yeah, what they're fucking with this man. This copy of this man. It ain't even him. It's a copy. It's like Bizarro John. Has DC ever had the gray almond-eyed schwa aliens before? Schwa aliens. We could go back to the wiki. Schwa aliens. Schwa aliens. There's Erwin Schwab. And Julia Schwartz. All we need is gatekeep in this gaslight gatekeep girl boss triangle. The 3 Gs. Now that we're here, I'm kind of curious if that's like the stylization that they use. Kate Kane is Batwoman, one of many vigilantes who protects Gotham City using the imagery of a bat. God. Shortly after Ring Weekend of Kate's final year at the Academy, she was anonymously accused of homosexual conduct. Ugh. Are wikis just like hostile to gay people? Like, is that a thing? Well, references to homosexual characters may have existed. There were few, if any, examples of openly gay heroes, blah, blah, blah. Whatever the reaction, homosexual characters appearing... Like, I get that that's, like, a term that's, like, used. But, like, I feel we're at a point in time where, like, using that instead of, like, other terms that are available just seems a little, little hostile. She herself considers the personality to be homosexual. Like, Obsidian is homosexual and in a relationship with Dame. Like, should we just put on all the straight character pages that they're heterosexual? Like, you know, how many times does heterosexual get used? There's about 80 results for homosexual. Heterosexual gets 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8. Oh, and one of them happens to be on Grant Morrison's page. In October 2020, Morrison came out as non-binary and now uses they/them pronouns. He is single, heterosexual. His favorite animal is a cat, and his favorite girl... Direct quote written by Morrison themselves for the Invisible Ink column. Okay, if it's a direct quote... But, like, here's the thing, is they didn't need to use this specifically, right? Grant Morrison offered a biography for themselves in 1994, using now defunct masculine pronouns. So this is a 26-year-old biography that is the entirety of this page on Grant Morrison, other than in October 2020, Morrison came out as non-binary. That's like, come on, update your pages. It does feel weird when I read homosexual for gay characters on those wikis. It's not the biggest deal or anything, but it's a bit odd and outdated feeling. LOL, John's, I'll go home with her, but I don't recall being married. The book/author. Be grateful, John. She's beautiful. What's the conflict here? Just like the way that the word homosexual is typically used conversationally as of late is a bit dismissive, and I would say like very often is used like derogatory, like calling someone a homo or something. But like I can say homosexual because it's the correct term or whatever. But like there's so many other just words that are like available that could be used instead, right? Like you don't have to, like, why are you in 2021 writing Renee Montoya is a homosexual, or indicating she's a homosexual, or like there so and so was accused of homosexual behavior? Like, just call them lesbian, just call them gay, just like call them what they are instead of this like weird dismissive like blanket term. And then like I was saying on this Grant Morrison page, like the entirety of the bio that they have for them, when like Grant Morrison is like a well-renowned author for DC, like there's a lot that can be said about Grant Morrison. The only thing they have on this page is Grant Morrison uses they/them pronouns. Anyway, here's a whole 1994 bio 27 years ago that they wrote that doesn't use those. Like, why do you need this instead of like a thing about who Grant Morrison is and who they have been for like the last 30 years, you know? Like it's strange. It may not be like intentionally like, you know, hostile, but like it certainly comes across as not having a lot of like LGBT perspective in these articles, I would say, and can easily be construed as like hostile because of that, whether it's intended or not. They even say him outside of the... Did they? Grant Morrison offered a biography for themselves. See, in October, Morrison came out as non-binary. He's a writer. I'm not seeing it outside of the quotes. I'm just seeing it in the quotes. With possible homosexual tendencies, may need to investigate more. LMAO, was that the page? Hold on. Hold on, which page was that again? That's my big problem with a lot of the larger wikis like Marvel or DC's. Outside of major characters, they're very lacking in detail. DC should hire me to update them all. I mean, it's a wiki, so you can go in there and try to, but like, it's very possible it'll be overturned by a mod. The mods of, or some of the mods of the DC wiki are also mods of the DCAU wiki, and they get kind of particular when people edit things. They should hire me to do it. Imagine how passive-aggressive it would be. So Wikipedia itself is full of examples of Grant being misgendered. I noticed and corrected one on Professor Pig's page a few months back. His mom is... oh, Grant's page. I don't know. But yeah, I just... Non-binary. There are currently 7 non-binary people categorized as staff. No, there aren't. There are 2. There are 2. There's not only 2 non-binary people working at DC. I know that's for a fact. I know Jordan Gibson's non-binary. Male staff members, male pencilers. They go by he, them. But like, still non-binary. I can't like get myself focused on wiki longer than that, because I just always want to go in and like do so many different changes and edits when I start seeing stuff like that, and I'll end up taking the whole day, and then they'll all get reverted. So I'm not even gonna mess with it. But if anybody else wants to, and you know, has sources available, go nuts. Though I don't think you would need sources just to change out I guess, technically synonyms. Grant said at the time and on that page of themselves, heterosexual with possible latent homosexual tendencies may have to investigate further, which feels it's also worded bizarrely. Oh, yeah, but I mean that is that would be Grant's own words from 1994. So like the wording of what's going on there isn't what I would like the wording of what's there isn't necessarily like what the issue is. It's just that like Grant has had like an incredibly storied career. Like, look at how long their Wikipedia page is. Grant's had an incredibly storied career, and all that the DC Wiki sees as relevant is, let's use this bio that was written 27 years ago and uses incorrect, language about themselves. Like, it's strange. Like the bug furry wiki. I forgot all about that. Yes, exactly like the bug furry wiki. I see. Maybe these articles were written a while back. The whole wiki format seems a bit dated to me, especially when we're talking about ones for shows from back in the 2000s. I mean, the one for Gloria Navarro was like just written the other day, given that, she's an entirely new character. Like I can definitely I can definitely agree that there's a very much a likeliness that some of these were written a while ago. But when you have like the Grant Morrison page being like, oh, they're non-binary now, he him pronouns don't apply anyway, here's what they said in 1994, it's just like, well, that had to have been updated since October. Like, why leave it at that? From 1994, when we were all idiots. I can relate to that. I was 3 years old in 1994, so not having a lot of brain power there myself. Isn't the must investigate further part a reference to Watchmen? It could be. That seems possible. That bio being included would be perfectly fine if it was just the intro to a much more extensive article, but when it's on its own, it's a bit weird. Yeah, I mean, I can agree with that as well. Or like, even like putting, they/them like in brackets as inserts wherever he, him, his are. Oh! Just about knocked over my my microphone. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not gonna go too much further into it, just cause like, I don't know. I'm tired of wiki beef, I guess. I say I'm tired of wiki beef, and yet I show up on a wiki and find like 500 more things to beef over. But Grant, yeah, they came out in October 2020, so almost a year ago now. But yeah, I guess. Oh, we've read 3 chapters. We beefed with wikis. I gotta figure out a silly. You know what? It'll be that I forgot chapter 2. That'll be the silly clip. So yeah, I guess I'm gonna go ahead and call the stream here. Go get some coffee in me, and maybe wake up a little bit more. But y'all have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you, or you will all see me, on Sunday, when we break down Batman: The Adventures Continue #4. I want to at least show y'all before I go. I gotta bring up Chrome to do it, but Chrome doesn't like working with Stream a lot of the time. Before I go, I want y'all to see the thumbnail. because it's pretty fucking funny. Is it? It's probably in my history. There it is. There it is. It's this thumbnail here. Let me zoom in. Yeah. They're also big now. Oh no. Where did it go? Where did it go? Where did it go? There it is. It's beautiful. We got to dunk on that guy from Twitter who really wanted Harvey Bullock and Renee Montoya to fuck. So that's fun. But yeah, y'all take care, and I will see y'all. I'll probably see y'all in the Discord if you're there. All right. Where do I? There I go. Goodbye.